We have a lot more to get to, including explosive allegations first reported by NBC News being made against rap icon Jay-Z. A new civil lawsuit accuses him of raping a 13-year-old girl with Sean Diddy Combs at a house party more than 2 decades ago. Claims both men deny. NBC's senior legal correspondent Laura Jarrett's here with more. Hey, Laura, good morning.
Hey, Hoda, good morning to you. Ever since Combs was indicted by federal prosecutors last fall, these parties he was known for hosting and what celebrities may have attended has been the subject of intense scrutiny. But the blast radius around the star had been relatively contained until now.
This morning, disturbing new claims against music icon Jay-Z. A civil lawsuit detailing sexual assault, originally brought against his longtime friend Sean Diddy Combs, now adding new allegations against the rapper whose real name is Sean Carter, claims both men deny. The anonymous woman, who was 13 at the time, described in the lawsuit as being drugged and raped at an MTV VMAs after party she says Combs hosted in 2000. According to the suit, she recalls accepting a drink from a waitress that made her feel woozy and lightheaded before she says she was raped by Jay-Z and then Combs in a bedroom as an unnamed female celebrity watched. Jay-Z swiftly issuing a statement Sunday calling the claims heinous and accusing the woman's attorney of trying to blackmail him, suggesting the attorney had tried to seek a settlement first, adding, quote, "I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. My heart and support goes out to the true victims in the world." The billionaire, who is married to megastar Beyonce, saying he is heartbroken. The couple will have to explain the, quote, cruelty and greed of people to their children. Combs, too, has denied any allegations of sexual assault. Earlier this fall, the plaintiff's attorney, Tony Busby, a personal injury lawyer in Texas, held a press conference after Combs was indicted on federal sex trafficking charges, suggesting more fallout would follow.
I expect that through this process, many powerful people will be exposed.
Combs pleaded not guilty to the charges and continues to deny the allegations Busby has made against him in a string of civil lawsuits, which Combs' attorneys have dismissed as shameless publicity stunts. But this marks the first suit publicly naming another high-profile celebrity.
Now, in a statement posted online, Busby, the lawyer, acknowledged sending Jay-Z a letter prior to filing this complaint, prior to this whole thing, seeking a confidential mediation, but says his client never demanded a penny from Jay-Z. At the time, she is now seeking an unspecified amount in damages, guys.
All right, Laura, thank you.
And as you can see in that video, Jay-Z is going down too, you know, and it goes to show you that, like, everyone that has participated in Diddy's, freak off parties, everyone that has participated with him in doing all this, humiliation rituals to upcoming artists or so, because there's steps up the ladder that they have to go through in that industry, like when they are pretty much an entertainer of some sort, especially in the music industry, and they happen to have to go to certain parties, and P. Diddy's infamous for hosting those weird freak off parties, and then they gotta sign something or so, and then they just end up doing some crazy freak shit behind closed doors in a separate room, and it gets to the point where they may even have to be laced with something to basically be able to perform their humiliation ritual upon that person. That person that's going through the ritual have to be like, drugged up, I guess, so they don't have to think about it as much, or probably won't remember it, just for that temporary richness and fame. You see, all that is really just insane, and mind you, this allegation that now Jay-Z is getting caught up with, it was happened early in the early 2000s, and I'm like, shit, he probably would have never seen that coming, you know. And who knows what he was thinking when P. Diddy, you know, got caught up with his allegation. And of course, all that shit started from when P. Diddy started speaking against the higher ups in the company because he claimed he was going through some discrimination, and he ended up winning the case or whatever. But apparently they ended up having to reveal all of his dirty secrets and all the shit that he did behind closed doors, you know, showing you how stupid Jake is. You're thinking that you're on the same level as Esau, that you could report Esau about certain things they're doing to you, when you have so much skeletons in your closet, and for being in that industry you have to do all type of wickedness to basically remain on the top. So they have a laundry list to expose about you. So it's like you got to keep things hush hush, whatever they do to you, you see. And it goes to show you that Esau will never look at you as his equal, whether you be a multi-millionaire, whether you be a billionaire. They still will look at you like you're inferior, no matter what you do. See, what's his name? Look at Michael Jackson. Look how they treated him. Same thing with Bill Cosby. You know, very wealthy, very good at what they do, and yet they still get treated like they ain't shit. And all you celebrities, you're just lesser luminaries anyway. You know, whether you be a high celebrity like, you know, Diddy and Jay-Z, you know, they were pretty much, well, Diddy was a billionaire at one point, but his net worth, of course, dropped because he had to pay them fees for those allegations or so, you know, and try to pay some people off to keep silent, like he did with Cassie Ventura. And they still throwing more allegations at him left and right. And of course, he's going to snitch to the feds and basically mention who else was involved in those parties. You know, Jay-Z, I know, was a big one in that too, because, you know, there was a lot of information being spread out from when I was even young about how Jay-Z was gay, about the gay shit he did, how he's a big time Illuminati and all this other shit. So Jay-Z's another big head in this thing, and he's going to go down hard too, you know. And of course, at this point, Diddy's going to do everything to save his ass, you know, or reduce his sentence. So he going to definitely snitch on everybody else, you know, mainly the ones who been supporting him in what he do and actually were heavy contributors to his freak off parties. So Diddy ain't gonna go down alone. And one thing about Esau is, like, he know his kingdom is going down, so he gonna make sure that these lesser luminaries go down before Esau ultimately goes down. And ultimately, it's the Most High's judgment anyway, because it's like, you know, he judges his people first before he judges Esau, you know, or these other nations. You know, the Most High, he will attack and get on his own people first. So it says right here in Isaiah, the 28th chapter, I'm going to start at verse 14. It says, wherefore hear the word of the Lord, ye scornful men that rule this people which is in Jerusalem, because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death, and with hell are we at agreement. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us, for we have made lies our refuge, and under falsehood have we hid ourselves. Verse 17, judgment also will I lay to the line, and righteousness to the plummet, and the hail shall sweep away the refuge of lies, and the water shall overflow the hiding place. And verse 18 says, and your covenant with death shall be disannulled, and your agreement with hell shall not stand. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, then ye shall be trodden down by it. And it goes to show you right there that, like, no matter what, you know, it's been like, what, 2 decades since the early 2000s or so, and you see, Esau will hold records about you and all the wickedness that you have done, and he will pretty much use everything that you did from when you started in that industry to whatever time period that he decides to expose you, he's gonna pretty much have a whole rap sheet of everything you've done, you know. And a lot of these shit that these artists do, you know, to become famous or to maintain their fame, they have it like, you know, as proof, something that they could hold against you, that your higher ups could hold against you, just in case, like, if you was to try to speak out against what they do, that they got something for wicked that you did, so that now they could pretty much throw you under the bus if you try to do that to them. Yep. So that's what they do. And let me bring out this other precept right here. It says in Sirach, or Ecclesiastes chapter 12 verse 10, it says, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, and take good heed, and beware of him, and thou should be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust had not been altogether wiped away. Set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up at thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words, and be pricked therewith. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts? So one that goeth to a sinner and is defiled with him in his sins, who will pity? For a while he would abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. And though he pretend to help thee, yet he shall he undermine thee. He will shake his head and clap his hands and whisper much and change his countenance. Yep. And you see, one thing about Esau, that's the mentality that he has. No matter how rich you are as Jake on this side, no matter how much shit that you have done for Esau, scriptures say that they take no account of our labors. You know, it don't matter what we do, these Edomites will never be satisfied with whatever we contribute to this society. You know, we're the reason why America's great, you know, and they don't take no accountability. They don't take no appreciation, I'll say, for everything that Jake does. So with that being said, Jake in the entertainment industry, we're the reason why America is good at entertainment, you know, whether it be sports, whether it be music, whether it be acting, you know, you name it. All forms of entertainment, Jake is literally on the top. You know, even though Jake had to sell out and, you know, sell their soul and do all the separate rituals to maintain their wealth and continuously being famous, it's like, you know, and it goes to show that Esau wants you to do that so he can have something over on you. You know, it's like Jake does all that shit, and yet we still are the reason why America is just a great country, in a sense. Just like in all of our ancient captivities, how you think we made it the kingdoms as good as they were? You know, Jake was pretty much the reason behind it. And that's something that these celebrities are gonna really understand. You know, no matter how wealthy you becoming, you know, being under Esau in that industry, you pretty much are gonna be shown that you're just nothing more than a nigga. You know, you're no different than a broke, poor nigga struggling with government benefits. When Esau looks at you, you know, he gonna look at you the same way as a regular average Jake that's not famous. You know what I mean? Because nonetheless, you still a nigga in his eyes. If this man Esau don't give a fuck about his own people, and look what he's doing to his own, he got his own struggling. You know, he got some of his own people homeless, or some of them just broke, even if they live in somewhere. If you have his own people struggling like that, even Amalekites too, to some degree, how much more is he gonna have you Jakes as his enemy? Like, how much more you think that he really cares about y'all? Like, he don't, you know? He may act like he do, like it tells you in Sirach the 12th chapter, but he just really don't. You know, he don't give a fuck about y'all. You know, he gonna, of course, change his countenance from time to time. He gonna try to get you to gain his trust and all that shit, just so that he could just throw you in the pit and then eventually try to act like he gonna help you at the same time, where he's really not out trying to help you. Because you see, one thing about a devil is a deceiver, and Esau has mastered now that's what the word devil means. Like brothers go into etymology and break it down. You know, one thing about Esau is like, why do you think he's called the serpent? You know, and scripture said the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field. You know, he has mastered the form of being a devil, you know, and not only being a devil by just rape, robbery, and murder, and even afflicting all nations of people, even his own people. He has mastered the form of being a great devil by even having it to where you Jakes really believe that he fucking changed, and he didn't. You know, I mean, just because they were during the times of hardcore captivity and during the times of segregation, I mean, just because they were really showing that they were the devil back then, you know, it don't necessarily mean that they don't have that same type of spirit, you know, now. Because I mean, they just held back in a sense right now. They're holding back, you know, and they still show it to some degree here and there, especially if you go out hiking, hunting with them, you know, you doing their type of hobbies with all of them in a particular town or neighborhood that's outside of the city life, you know. That's when they're gonna really show that real perpetual hatred that they got for y'all, you know. Not, and especially in the time of Jacob's trouble, they're gonna show that on a whole nother level. And one thing I'm not gonna hold you is like, a lot of these celebrities, they're just a real life test run, an experiment of just showing why you should never trust Esau, and no matter what you do for Esau, you know, even on such a high level as being a celebrity, you know, and entertaining, and you know, just the masses of people, as well as influencing them to take on wicked customs and to follow after evil trends. It's like, you know, you're losing your soul and you're helping them to lose their soul in the process. It's like, even all of that, they still gonna bite you in your ass and show you that they don't got no care for you at all. And like scripture said, like, what's the point of gaining the whole world if you know, just to lose your soul? Because all the same wealth that you have on this side, like I believe in the book of Matthew, I believe it was the 6th chapter, goes into how you're supposed to lay up your treasures in heaven, because, you know, these treasures on earth is moth eaten, you know, and it's corruptible, basically. It's like all the riches that you have right now, like scriptures say that how, you know, the riches go by like wings, you know, it flies away. See, that type of wealth ain't gonna help you in that time where Esau has all those wicked allegations that you have committed, you know, all the wicked crimes that you did, all the allegations that you was caught up in, all that shit is gonna be used against you. It's just like a what you call it, like a drug dealer, you know. And we're talking about like the ones that the CIA set up to fund the drugs. They're the ones that pretty much fund the war on drugs and all that shit. They're the ones who bring the drugs and bring the guns in the communities, you know. They're the ones that be on the dark net selling those things, working as a supplier. They will work as a vendor, or they'll be in cahoots with certain top vendors, you know what I mean? And they pretty much work with setting it up where they have it to where, you know, they tracking you down or whatever when you commit communicated with them, what device that you use to pretty much communicate with them and all that shit. See, Esau has everything tracked, and what he do is that he will work with you, build a foundation with you for many years and shit like that, and build you up, build up your wicked enterprise, in that underground activity. And then eventually he would just pretty much build a case upon what you are profiting off of, within that underground activity, and then he's just gonna bring you down, and he's gonna come down to pretty much show you that he is those, as I mentioned in Matthew 6 chapter, those thieves that come in to break and steal, and even legally he has a system called the IRS that does all that shit too, against your moth-eaten riches. And let me see, it says, let me bring out this last precept, might just be the last. It says in Ecclesiastes chapter 8 verse 11, it says, because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil. And verse 12 says, though a sinner do evil 100 times and his days be prolonged, yet surely I know that it shall be well with him that fear Yahweh, which fear before him. Yeah, because one thing is, like, when you see these celebrities, they're like Snoop Dogg, you got a lot of these other celebrities like Jay-Z, Diddy, that been in the game for a while, that's very luxurious, they have a very luxurious lifestyle, they're very wealthy, all that shit, they get all the perks and benefits of being wealthy, and then it's like all that shit don't mean nothing, because it's like at the end of the day, when Esau ready to bring you down, he gonna do so anyway. But I mean, during the C-19 pandemic, like, after all, they was talking about the whole Jeffrey Epstein and people awake to the the whole Pizzagate shit that they were doing, you see. And I believe that man is still alive. They just have him, basically took him off of social media and just have him like living out there. So, because he of course have enough money to go out like that and hiding and shit and living off of like that as well. So, you see, the thing is that they were catching on to those type of things. So now what they're gonna do is to save their asses and to hide everything that these wicked politicians do behind closed doors. Of course, they're gonna expose Jake first. They're gonna bring down Jake. That's how Esau works and operates. If people catch on to his wickedness, he's gonna throw a distraction and be like, hey, these are the niggas that were really responsible for it. And Esau is that type of person. He gonna bring Jake down before his caveman monkey ass goes down. That's what he does, and that's why he's ultimately the devil. And people just now realizing that all these things were going on, when these elites, these higher up Edomites have been doing this shit for years, And verse 13 says, but it shall not be well with the wicked, neither shall he prolong his days, which are as a shadow, because he feareth not before Yahweh. Right. And so yeah, that's pretty much it on that. And I'd like to say, call on your Allah, Yahweh, Shem, Yasharahla, Shem, Kadash, the one of the apostle, elsewhere, no son, peace, I say, Shalom, Shalom.